What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. A little change up of videos today. Gonna be showing you guys the process of making maple syrup. We're gonna be tapping some trees here. We're gonna run through some different operations. We're gonna run through how I do it, and then we're gonna go out to a woods and see how it's ran vacuum with tubing and all sorts of lines, and you guys will get to see us boil it down and make the final product. All right, so we're out here in the woods. We're gonna come up to a tree that I've tapped in the past. It's not a bad tree, it's not the biggest. We've got one there and then another one there. Probably only tap one of them. But as you can see right there, that's a scar from a past tap. I don't see any more. It looks like I only put one. But we're gonna be tapping the south side of the tree because that's where the sun shines on it the most. So this side is gonna be warmer. This side is still froze, you could say. It doesn't get the heat of the sun, so the sap doesn't run the best on that side. So we're gonna be tapping the south side. So I'm gonna grab my drill here with a tapping bit. I mean, you can use a wood bit, but this one is made for tapping. And usually you don't want to tap right next to your scars. So I'm gonna go right here. There you have it. Have my hole drill. As you can see, there is some sap starting to flow out of it. So I'm gonna take my tap here, just a little plastic tap. Got my hammer, stick it in, and then pound it in until you hear it start to get a little more solid. That means you're all the way to the back of your hole, and you can see that it's really starting to run. So after a cold night last night and a sunny, nice, warm day today, you can see that thing is constantly dripping. So the trees are running. So I'm gonna come over here. I got my homemade bag, PVC pipe with a hole drilled in it, and then there's a groove that our zip tie sits in, holds this bag up. I'm gonna come up to the tree, hook it on over my spile, tap, whatever, and just like that, that tree is tapped. I'm gonna run over and do one of those. We'll probably put two on them because they're a bigger tree, and I will check back in with you guys. Not running as fast as this one is, but that tree has produced pretty well in the past. Both of these have. Boy, that tree's really running. I'm gonna go tap probably 3 or 4 more trees here. I brought 7 bags with me, and yeah. All right, well, I just got done tapping 7 trees, or put 7 taps in. They'll be full definitely by tomorrow. I mean, they're running pretty crazy. So they'll be full tomorrow. We're gonna come back and you'll see me collect that later. But now we're gonna head over to a 15, 16 acre woods. Vacuum ran. So there's tubes that run throughout the whole woods, and the sap is all pulled into one area by a vacuum. So I will show you guys how that works. And yeah, let's go check it out. All right, so what we have here is a releaser. As you can see down there, that little white pipe coming in on the side is where one of the main lines is coming in at. So this will then take the sap in from the main line and then pump it out through a line that'll run up to our storage tank up by the road for us to then come back and collect later. There's our 4 main lines coming into the shed from the woods. And then here's our vacuum that sucks all the sap in. So on this gauge here, it's running around 24 inches of mercury is how you read it, which that's pretty good for this wood. Usually you want it to 24 to 25 here. And there it is on the vacuum again. And then there's our main line coming from the releaser out the shed. Here we have our 4 main lines coming into the shed. There's where they go out and they split, going to different sections of the woods. These 2 go to the north end of the woods, and then these 2 go to the south end of the woods. Here's a tap in the tree. You can kind of see some sap in here. You can see some bubbles right there that are slowly moving. And then that drop will connect to that line. Here's where a couple of lines run into the main line at. That's the end of the line there. This is a sub-main, if you want to call it. So this branches off one of the bigger main lines and runs up into a section of the woods. Here, we are fixing a hole in the line. So we'll take some clippers and we'll clip out a section and we'll put in this splice. That's that plastic piece going in there. And then this tool will clamp that splice in there. So then there's no more leak. And you just unclamp it from the line, and there's your splice. Here's another tap in the tree, and then it dropped into the line. You can see some bubbles there of the sap slowly moving. Usually that's around the speed that it'll usually run at when it's running on a good day. And there you can see the whole woods with all the lines running. And then here we are taking off the part of the line where it connects to the main line at, and we are splicing in a new section of line that doesn't have a hole in it, so it shouldn't leak. You just squeeze that together and it clamps the splice in there and you're good to go. So that's how this setup works with the vacuum system and the tubing running through the woods. It's a very effective system, and I will show you collecting it later on in this video. Well, it is the next day. Out here at the 3 trees that you guys saw me tap yesterday. The first one, tree is running really good. Got almost a full bag, but the other 2, the second 2, the other 2 that I tapped aren't running as good as I expected, which I guess the tree just doesn't run good. But we're gonna collect these 3 bags and I will check back in with you. All right, come back here. So here we have a gooseneck trailer backing down the road. It's pulled by a Ford F450 with flatbed on it. There's our tank that all of our sap is pumped into. It's 3,000 gallons is how big it is. Here I'm unscrewing the valve and opening it. And then that line runs into a pump, and then this pump will pump it into the trailer. Trouble starting it, but it does help turn on the switch before you start it. So now that we got the pump running, the sap will go through this line, tube. Sap will go through this tube, up into this big white tank. This white tank holds 1,500 gallons, and then there's two smaller tanks on the front of the trailer that are 500 gallons. And before this, we stopped out at another woods that is also vacuum ran, same setup, and collected 1,000 gallons. There's those two tanks in the front. Those are both full. Here is inside the collection tank for the woods. It's about half full at the moment. And then there's a view of the woods. This is the line that runs down into the tank. Open it up here and you can see down in there. So it's about half full right now, it's getting pumped out, so it's slowly going down. But you can see the sap that's running in there from that black tube. That's coming out of the vacuum. So we're almost half full on the big white tank. Those two tanks are the two 500 tanks I was talking about. Well, that's going to do it for part 1 of the video. Stay tuned for part 2, where we will start the boiling process. I'll show you guys me doing it at home. And then this weekend, I'm going to run over to Shepherd Sugar Bush, and we're going to see how they do it. The more the commercial side of things, and how they put out a lot of syrup pretty quick. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next.